Joining me today for a chat is Matt Marinelli, guitarist and singer for AFM recording artist Boralis. The band has a new album out called Purgatory, and be sure to check out fellow writer Fernando's absolutely glowing review of it, which I pretty much agreed with. So thanks for taking the time today, Matt.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, like I said, I've enjoyed Purgatory a lot. You guys, it seems like, have refined your sound a bit. Maybe, I think, creating the most mature album of your three. How do you see Purgatory?
I agree with you 100%. It's definitely a sound that we've been trying to chase for a while. We just didn't have the know-how or the technology to do it. But I think with Purgatory, our newest element was the orchestrations. Mm-hmm. Which we've always wanted to do. We just could never get the right quality of instruments to make it sound the way we wanted. So, I think Purgatory is definitely the vibe of what we want anyways. We've always kind of liked that heavier, dark atmosphere with that orchestration, kind of movie-ish sound.
Sure, but not overpowering like some bands tend to do. So
yeah, no, definitely not. We want to make sure that the guitar is still the main focus because we just love the guitar riffs.
Yeah, well, it's heavy metal, so that's kind of the defining thing of it. It's a really strong album and tough for me to pick just one track, but I always try to do that, or even a few favorites. But going through, and I forced myself, I said Destiny. That's the track. Can you talk about that song, both musically and lyrically?
Yeah, of course. Destiny is one that we had that intro riff for quite a while, and it was one of those songs where we wanted to change it up because it's really easy, especially when you're writing, to get into this kind of routine where you start writing very similar all the time. And we wanted to change it up, and doing a longer solo that kind of breaks everything down is something that we've never done before, and we thought it was the perfect song to do it. Destiny, lyric-wise, was because Purgatory is a concept album, Destiny is supposed to be the perfect world that this little girl has created. So Destiny is where she escapes to when she's feeling alone or feeling abused or what have you. But that Destiny is kind of the place where she creates. Originally, the song was going to be called My Creation, but we just thought with My Piece, we didn't want to have two songs with the My.
Even though it's, like you said, a concept album based on a character, I guess.
Yes, a family.
Do you have any song that you think really represents the album and the band?
I've always, My Piece, I always kind of go back to My Piece, even in other interviews. I think, for me, that was the song that gave us the sound that we want. I remember when we were in the studio writing it, we did it very choppy, where I just had a beginning riff, and then we started kind of doing this chug thing, and then from that point on, we knew exactly what direction we wanted to take the album. And I think it has so many great elements in it, from a little bit of progressive element to it. It has that heavier aspect, and I also think it has a lot of atmosphere with the orchestra on the song. So I think it kind of goes through a lot of different parts in it.
Any particular song you're looking forward to playing live?
My Piece, we've been rehearsing for the tour, and My Piece is really coming along. It's a lot of fun to play.
Okay.
And even the Chosen one is definitely really fun to play, especially with the intro riff.
Okay, good. Looking forward to hopefully both of them. You guys have a, I think, and I think I've read it other places, a pretty distinct Evergrey influence.
Yeah.
But I think you guys are a bit more progressive in nature, where they have tended in the past couple of albums to go more in the power metal kind of direction. So have they been an influence on you guys?
They really have. We've gotten some reviews even where they're like, we're trying to copy Evergrey, and I kind of disagree with that. I find, this is my opinion, that Evergrey kind of created almost like a genre where they took the power metal sound but took it made it very heavy and very dark.
Right.
And it was something that we always just really enjoyed. We liked, we love all different types of power metal, but we really liked the fact that it was more, had the darker element, and it was just that heavier vibe to it. So, of course, there's going to be some similarities to it. I think even with my voice, I don't try and have Tom's sound. It just kind of, that's just the way I sing. And I think because we play a heavier style of metal as well with my lower range vocals, it's easy for people to compare us to Evergrey. But no, Evergrey, since the beginning, I remember buying their DVD and just being like, wow, this band is incredible. So they've always been an influence for us. Mm-hmm. But we have so many other influences, such as Symphony X and Master Plan, and even more 80s rock like Dokken and Winger and all bands like that.
Sure.
So we think we're not copying them, but we think we definitely use their sound a little.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a rip-off by any means. Just an occasional chord progression where I'll go, oh, that sounds a bit like something Tom England and crew would do. So.
No, for sure. To me, they perfected that sound so much that it's hard not to.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, you mentioned the 80s, so good segue. I'm glad you set me up for that. What was your introduction to music in general and heavy metal specifically?
Well, music was a pretty funny story with music, because I started taking guitar very, very young, and the first reason was I liked Van Halen, and I didn't want to play hockey anymore. So my parents were like, yeah, you try to do something else. I was like, oh, I like Van Halen, so I took up the guitar. And I guess there was a few years I kind of went into like this punk kind of phase, and then I remember one day my dad came home and he had a best of Dokken, and I remember listening to it and I was like, this is unreal, like I need more of this. And every kind of week he would come back and he'd bring another CD, and then he got this other mix CD with bands like Gamma Ray and Camelot and Stradivarius. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow, it's the 80s, but it's like even thicker and cooler. Then from that point on, 80s metal and the kind of the European power metal has always been my favorite style.
Okay. Yeah, you could certainly pick worse ways to start with. You know, I grew up in the 80s, and yeah, Dokken was, one of those bands that we kind of gravitated towards. George Lynch is still a master. So, and the other bands you mentioned, sure. You mentioned hockey. All right, I'm in Chicago, and I'm not from here, but I happen to be a Blackhawks fan. So, who's your team?
Sadly, I don't watch a lot of hockey.
No? Well, Toronto hasn't had much to watch the past few years.
Toronto's, they're hurting a lot. But, where I live and with, my soon-to-be wife and her sister, they love Chicago.
Okay, good.
They're number one team. So I just kind of cheer for whatever they're cheering for.
All right. What other hobbies or interests do you have then?
I'm really
outside of music.
Yeah, I'm really big into golf.
Oh, okay.
Surprisingly, I kind of follow Alice Cooper in that.
Uh-huh.
No, I really like golf. I like watching golf. as boring as that may sound. I also am a huge horror movie guy. Preferably the ones from the 80s, like the 80s slashers, but that's probably my biggest hobby is watching horror movies.
Okay. All right. Okay, back to music stuff. You guys are getting ready to go on tour with Evergrey,
Yep.
which, and another of my favorites, Voyager. It's a nicely focused lineup, I think, for the fans of power and prog. What are you looking forward to doing aside from actually being on stage while you're on tour?
Just hanging out with the guys, seeing Tom again. I had the pleasure of playing with Tom in Belgium at PPM Fest, and we both sang on an episode album, the Phantasmagoria.
Mm-hmm.
And it was from that point on we became friends. We were talking all the time, and I would just like to see him again, meet the Voyager guys. They're actually very new to me, but as soon as I clicked on their link, I was even more excited about the tour.
Yeah, they're pretty infectious.
Oh yeah, no, it's a perfect lineup,
Yeah.
and to me, like, just watching the show as well. Like, I've only seen Evergrey once, and getting to see them 12 times is a plus.
All right. Well, I haven't had the chance to see any of you guys, although I got to interview Tom last year at Prog Power, but haven't actually seen the band. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, to your date here in Chicago.
Oh yeah, we can't wait.
All right. I like this question. What's your most memorable live music experience, either playing or even as a fan?
I guess as cheesy as it sounds, I would say when I was performing with Episode, getting to share the stage with a lot of my heroes, Simone from DGM, Mike LaPon from Symphony X, singing with Tom from Evergrey, Henning Bass. Like, the list just keeps going on, and they're guys that I've listened to my entire life, and having the chance to sing with them on stage and playing with them, it was just a very surreal moment for me, and I would say that would be my highlight to date. Yeah,
that's a pretty good one. What would your dream tour be for you guys?
Oh, jeez. Evergrey would be one of them.
Well, you could check that box.
Yeah. We would love, I don't know what happened to them, but Nocturnal Rites was, man, we love them.
Oh, yeah, I think I have an album by them.
I don't know what happened. They kind of stopped, but Nocturnal Rites would be ideal. When I was younger, I was a really big fan of Nightwish. I would like to play with them.
Mm-hmm.
I just find they have a whole different fan base in the genre. But I would love to play with Nightwish. To be honest, any of the bands I'm excited for. I'm fans of so many bands that I could just keep going.
Yeah, all of them. There we go.
Exactly.
Okay. Hey, all right, Matt. Time for my last question. Our website's name is We Love Metal. Why do you love metal?
I love metal because the fans are probably the most truest fans you could ever have. They still buy merch. They buy the CDs. They come to the concerts. They sing all the lyrics. Every metal person I've ever met are the nicest people ever. And a lot of people, they kind of get a bad rap sometimes, but I've never met nicer people. I just love the whole industry. I love the vibe. And the music. To me, it's the best style of music there is.
Perfect. Great answer. I always kind of get almost a similar one, but you're really the first that mentioned the fans that really makes the difference for you. So we appreciate it, us fans out here. So But all right, Matt. Thanks for taking the time to. Anybody listening out there, be sure to check out the band on their tour with Evergrey and Voyager, and be sure to check out Purgatory. It's a fantastic album, and I can see it showing up on some end-of-year lists for sure. Any last words out for anybody out there, Matt?
Just thank you to all the fans for supporting us along this journey. I know it's been pretty long from Fall from Grace to now, but we really appreciate it, and we'll see you on the road.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Bill.